Yeah, sure. You gonna sit there?
I'm saying that you.
Okay. I'll hold your hand.
Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The public participation. If you'd like to speak to the council, please fill out the form and hand it to Shannon. Please indicate on the form if you wish to speak during a specific discussion or agenda item. Remember, council members are not allowed to answer questions during public participation. Please remember to state your name and address. Record. This is for the public hearing. Okay. Appointed representative, liaison report. Upper Trinity. Yeah.
I have nothing new tonight. Everything is great.
Thank you.
Great. That's good. Great. The lakes are all full.
That's good. Denton County Emergency District Chief Bond.
Yeah.
Evening, Mayor, Council, thank you for having us. Last month was our very first month of the new medics. So we put the medical service, you recall, and so it was we did it in February, but March was the first time we really made about 60 calls, which is about average. I mean, that's what we don't. Some of the went out, the harvest makes about 90, so it's roughly about the same. And it was good because it was also ended up being our busiest month ever. And I say ever because up in the busiest month ever was February of 2021. If y'all remember Snowmageddon, we surpassed that last month. And so it was very interesting because we also tracked concurrent calls, which are calls that happen simultaneously, like multiple calls. We typically average between 15 and 20%. And for some reason, we were down. We were down, only had 10 that were concurrent, which means we were just steady. We were just like, they weren't all stacked together. It was just a busy month for us. So I guess that's the bright side of being busy. At least it wasn't all stacked up, because the reason why we watch that, when you have those concurrent calls that stack up, it slows your response time. And so it's one reason why we look at that. Also in March, we had our first ESP 1 and 2 workshop. They had on Saturday, March 29th, we met. The focus was talking about as we get ready into the budget season for us. One of the things they needed to adopt part of our strategic plan was to come up with a capital asset replacement policy, a schedule. And so we now have like a 12-year schedule. We kind of really focus on the next 3 years part of the strategic plan. And so we gave an update on that. And we also gave an update on the strategic plan itself. We're 6 months in since the time they approved that. And so we talked about that and gave an update where we are. And we also talked about, the station and the updates on that. So interestingly enough, tomorrow we have our community stakeholder advisory board, which consists of about 20-30 community leaders across our district, and they include school district, town managers, mayors. They all come, and we give them a free lunch. That's why they come and give free lunch. So they'll get a lot of the same presentation that the commissioners got at the workshop. Going over that and kind of really just kind of updating our strategic plan where we are. So a lot of good things, but we've also got a lot of things coming up at the springtime. A lot of good things. On April 26th, we're going to kind of try something. We've been doing this for about a year, but we're really going to kind of maybe brand a little bit more than usual. See how it goes. But we got a free grant, and so we at all our fire stations in the lobby, we've got this box and it's got these paid postage envelopes, and so it's part of the like I said, the National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. So a lot of the police departments do this, where we now have the envelopes that our citizens can, we get these phone calls all the time. Hey, my mother passed away, and I've got these little, what do I do with these things? And so you can come out of the fire station, pick up an envelope, it's prepaid postage, you mail it, and they incinerate the whole thing. And so it's just kind of an opportunity, something we've been looking to try to enhance and kind of add that. We added the boxes to all the stations. So feel free to do that. Another thing, not related to this, but Lantana is doing an Earth Day. If you didn't know, we do collect old fire extinguishers too. So if you ever need those, always bring them by the station. We collect those. We get a lot of requests about that. Ironically, we turn around and we use those. We have the summer camp for the kids where they get to, simulate putting out a fire. And so we use those old extinguishers. for opportunities like that. So we try to recycle it and use it for another good thing, because a lot of times they just sit around people's houses, they don't know what to do with them. They're moving, getting rid of it, so it's just another way we can kind of give back and find a way, kind of take a need like that and find a way to make it work in multiple ways. May 17th is our big event. That's what we're going to have our third annual Carry the Load event. It's also our open house. So we open our house. We're going to have free hamburgers and hot dogs. It's kind of a big thing. Come and see all the fire engines and the firefighters. And we do the 6 to 7 mile, which goes through Bartonville. And so we look forward to that. That's our big signature event we look forward to doing. This year, I think we're going to, because it's getting bigger and bigger, we're thinking, man, we're going to put everybody. So I think we're going to take all the apparatus and put tables and stuff in the bay. So you can, that's one of the feedback we got in the prior years. There's no place to sit, eat my hot dog, so we're going to try that in tables and chairs in the shade, not outside. And so we're trying to think of ways to kind of enhance it and as we continue to grow. But look forward to seeing people there, seeing everybody there. Of course, I'll be doing the walk, same gear. That's what our firefighters kind of get shamed into us, but I enjoy doing it, but it is fun. So it's a good, of course, it's for Memorial Day, and so we look forward to that. With that, also Memorial Day, the next week on May 23rd, twice a year, we also do the blood drive. So remember, we do September 11th, we do a blood drive. We also try to do one around Memorial Day too. It's just another way to kind of give back, help save a life by doing blood. And then this summer, we'll get into a whole bunch of stuff. With all the summer camps and stuff like that. So
Snakes, right?
You're
gonna
get
snake hammer.
and I don't, Megan, she always set that one up. I said, we can do something different. We're not doing snakes. But it's funny, it's our biggest draw. We get the most people come to that whole thing, about all of them. You think electricity one would be called, because they execute a hot dog, it blows up, and then kind of neat, but electrocuted, but no, the snakes is a big hit. So yeah, I don't get here. Okay, yeah. Other than that, I'm sorry I took too much time, because I'll answer any questions you have.
I'll have one. The 4 fires in Bartonville, were those structure or
I can go back and look. I mean, they do include everything. Could be grass fires too, because that does have all fires on that one. We do have a report that does break it down, so I can let you know where they are.
okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Yeah, we put it all in here, so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope you'll have a big turnout for Carry the Load.
Yes, I hope so too.
Thanks, Chief. Number 3, Police Department, Chief Riggs.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. In your packet, you have our monthly report, and as I'll start with the calls for service. We had 130 calls for service for this past month, which was an increase of 3 from the prior month. If you look at the comparison of traffic collisions, we had 1 less traffic accident this month in March, back in March versus last year, 2024. And I'm happy to report we only had 1 crime on the UCRs for the theft that we filed for the FBI. We had 1 larceny, which was a theft at Kroger. And then if you look at officer self-initiated activity, they did 236 building checks, close patrols, 5 investigations, suspicious vehicle activity, and we had 191 traffic stops. We had 1 vacation house watch and had 10 walkthroughs. And this coming event, we do have the upcoming DEA drug take back initiative on April 26th. We have been doing that for several years, and we collected quite a bit of drugs last year. I can't remember where we fell in we weren't as good as the mayor with her cattle, but I think we were pretty much in the ranking there for a small town. But anyway, we'll be participating again in that in April, and I'll be happy to answer any questions if anybody has any.
Is the chart, the comparison of traffic stops, is that a new chart? Is that
Yes, sir. I mean, there were several things I think we had talked about, and that was our traffic stops. We wanted that, and then also the accidents.
I like that.
Yeah, it just shows that, there's times, I mean, you can work 2 a day and then we have a break. So most of those are all, as you know, on 407. But yes, sir, that's it.
Thank you, Chief.
No other questions?
No.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Administration, Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor. The report starts on page 21 of your packet. This is reporting for March, which is month 6 of the year, so it's halfway through the year. So we want to at least collect 50% of revenue and not expense more than 50% of expenditures. So on the revenues, we are actually doing really well. We're going through that report today. Total revenue, we have collected 75%. If you want to take a look at the list, we've collected 99% of property tax collected, which is on par. It's usually December through February when those are paid. And then we've collected 54% of franchise fees, 55% of sales tax, and 90% of our permit fees that we have budgeted. So we're all way over the 50% except for development fees, which we knew were going to be a lot lower this year because we didn't have any planned development. We've collected 44% in there. So, and then interest earned is on target at 59.95%. So we're really doing good with our revenues.
That's great.
Anybody have any questions before I move on?
No,
Page 22 of your packet, which is the sales tax 12-month rolling average. Again, this is what we've collected in March, which was actually, we received the revenue in March, but it was actually sales tax collected in January. So right after Christmas, so it did go down a little bit, obviously. But with our 12-month average, we're still high, we're increased about $360. So sales tax hasn't gone down, it's just the trend, but we still, over the 12-month average, we're a little over. We haven't gone down. And then page 23, which is all general fund expenditures. Again, month 6, so we want to have to have collected at least 50% of our revenues and expense less than 50% of our expenditures. And we are right now at 59.75% remaining in the budget, so we're actually 10% below budget on our expenditures. So that's really good place to be. Expenditures by department administration on your next page, 24. Administration has only expensed approximately 40% so far this year. So again, bringing it down just to the administration side, we are still following the overall budget. And same with PD on the next page. They've only expensed about 48%. So we're still below the 50%. So we're doing really well on expenditures as well as revenues. Any questions?
38% for folks, right?
Yeah. Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's really good.
If you don't have any questions, I'll move on to your investment report.
That's a good report.
Yes,
Thank you.
very good.
Thank you.
I like to report good things. Okay, so our quarterly investment report is January through March of 2025. So it's the first quarter of calendar year 2025, but the second quarter of our fiscal year. And in this quarter, we have earned between the general fund bank account and the reserve bank account, because that's all that we look at on this report. We don't look at CCPD or BCDC. We have earned $57,261 in interest. And bringing that in and all the property tax that we have received and collected in this past quarter, we have a net increase in our bank balance of $718,289. And this is where we're going to see the highest increase in our bank balances in this quarter because of those property tax collections that we have.
Right.
So, and that means just like you see at the beginning of your page, beginning market value and book value on January 1, our bank balances was 4.5 million. And ending on March 31st, we were at 5.2. So that's for the 718,000.
And like you said, the majority's property.
Now.
We're still on pace for $250,000 a year in interest earning. Just
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, incredible.
So yes, that helps. And then on the second page and the third page of your report, it shows that information. And I know that Councilmember Roberts asked this last quarterly presentation. Right now we're at 4.59%, 4.6 on our interest for our bank account. which is on par with the federal rate.
It's good, right?
Match them.
It's good, right?
It's a good
Yeah.
rate.
And so that really helps us with not having to worry about going to do other investments because our interest rate's so high. It's one of the best ways to save money is using the interest rate.
Yeah.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, I mean,
Yeah.
we're on market, so.
Fair.
That's an easy one right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's good, yeah, I got it.
Thank you, Shannon. You're welcome. Consent agenda. This agenda consists of non-controversial housekeeping items required by law. Items may be approved with a single motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by any council member by making such a request prior to a motion and vote on the consent agenda. Number one, consider approval of the March 18 regular meeting minutes. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes in March 2025.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. After public hearing, conduct a public hearing to hear public comment, discuss and consider an ordinance amending various provisions of the Town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 3, Building Regulations, Article 3.02, Technical and Construction Codes and Standards by adopting the 2021 edition of the International Building Code, International Residential Code, International Mechanical Code, International Plumbing Code, International Fire Code, International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, International Energy Conservation Code, International Fuel Gas Code, and International Existing Building Code, and adopting the 2020 edition of the National Electric Code, and providing for the modification of the code to incorporate local amendments. Staff presentation, Chief.
I think the town attorney has something to say.
Yes, I just have a comment real quick. So the ESD asked us to add a historical note to exhibit E. And I'll go ahead and I'll just read it for the record. It doesn't modify the actual amendments to the ordinance at all. It's just a historical note. It says this. And I've already updated the ordinance and provided the town secretary. So what you'd be voting on is the updated ordinance. I'll read it. Amendments to the 2021 International Fire Code. The following sections of the 2021 edition of the International Fire Code, the provisions of which shall be controlling within the limits of the town of Bartonville boundaries, are hereby amended for the purpose of consistency with specific past practices and recommendations of the North Central Texas Council of Governments. It's called Fire Advisory Board and the Denton County Emergency Services District Number 1. The following text is from the NCT COG TCE DSD1 recommended amendments and local amendments approved by the town of Bartonville previous fire codes. So for purposes of ordinance adoption, that doesn't change the actual amendments. It's just giving historical context so the general public understands where these.
Thank you.
I just want to also say that the reason that this is brought to our attention is that this will give the fire department the authority to enforce codes in the town of Bartonville, since they are not within the town of Bartonville, their extension with the MOU. So that's the reason for this. And just to go over that, we did collaborate with Denton County Emergency Services District 1 and the town of Argyle, preparing these 2021 international codes along with the proposed local amendments for your review and consideration. Due to the significant time span and the numerous revisions made between 2009 and 2021, additions compiling comprehensive list of every single change would have required extensive research and was not a feasible task. As you see, there's quite a different span in there. I also would also like to extend my sincere thanks to Chief Wynn, Captain Aarons, and Mr. Harris Wick, Acting Town Administrator for the town of Argyle, for their valuable assistance and experience in helping us update and align these codes with the current standards. I also want to thank Shannon. She did a lot of work on this as well. And then we had sent it to our attorney for review. And that was one of the reasons it was just such a huge document, why we pulled it off the agenda last month to give everybody time to review it. That did come up today. And that's why our town attorney wanted to bring it to y'all's attention. But this is just giving them the authority, it just a little later. I'll be happy to answer any questions at all. We have plenty of chiefs there and the heads, those guys have dealt a lot with it. So if you have any questions whatsoever, they're here to answer any questions for us.
Only 50% was out, giving us a good notice.
Yeah.
Opportunity to look at it. Because if you went through each one of them, that's highly extensive in great detail. Instead of just all of a sudden having dropped on me without having prior knowledge of it. Well, I appreciate you doing that because that would really help. Thank you.
It was quite an endeavor for them. And what this does is it lets all the cities, when they're looking at codes, it's for North Lake, us, Copper Canyon, it's like looking at the same document instead of different. And that was one of the reasons Chief Wynn brought it to us and Chief Vaughn and the captain. So a lot of work, a lot of time spent reading, but we brought it to y'all and we appreciate it as well. You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Just to clarify, Dane, the international bill, all these international codes, those were adopted by the state of Texas, right? So those would supersede our or any ordinances that we would have.
So the state of Texas has adopted minimum building codes, and municipalities can adopt updated codes.
Okay.
So every few years they will change the codes and kind of update. Most municipalities are ahead of the state. So the last time I think that we had adopted code was 2012. 9.
We adopted it in 2012, but it was 2009.
Oh, the 2009. So this would be bringing you pretty much in line with other municipalities.
Well, and my point is, if our existing town codes that we came up with were inferior to that, what was adopted by the state of Texas, Texas adoption supersedes our ordinance.
Yeah, that's the argument. That
okay, that's what I'm trying to get to.
Yeah, so for all
we're just complying with the state. Texas and bring everything up to date, so if that makes sense. Oh, that's fine.
Yes.
Any more discussion or questions? Okay, we'll move on to hearing. Time being 6:55, I'd like to open a public hearing. Would anyone like to speak in favor? Please state your name, address for the record. Chief.
I just want to make sure, just to answer your question. So, when you adopt obviously you adopted a slew of codes, including building code. They're all like this. The building code overlaps the fire code, and so it's very neat. To answer your question, the reason why you put the COG in there, it's reference COG in there, is because it is an international code. The North Central Council of Governments meet and they make amendments for this region. So all the fire marshals and empowers DFW Metroplex go to this and they try to, granted, what's across the country we want to apply to locally, right? So that's why this recommendation has their amendments in there. That's why we want to give them credit, because this is the COG's recommendation. So the reason why you put us in there is because we don't work for you, we work with you. So we have to be named in there that we are the one that's going to be enforcing the code in terms of the fire. That's the reason why the one to change in the wording there. Give credit to the college, and also to get us named specifically because we don't work for the town. That's all we need to have. That's the layman's term trying to what my lawyer tells me needs to be in there. It's like copyright. You can't say I wrote a book and not give credit to the copy.
Right.
So I can add to that too. So when the college is going to get grants, some of the things they'll look for is whether or not you've adopted their ordinances, right, or their local amendments, and then that helps them consider whether or not they can do it.
This is a very long process. I just wanted the staff, just the hard work that's been going on. Obviously, it's been a long time coming since 2009 or 12 when it was done. So getting you up to speed because your contractors, when they come in and they want to build a home and they're saying, what code are you on? They're like having to go back and find this old code because they're all, most of the community around us are working on 21. I think they're starting to release 24, but usually everybody stays a code behind. But there's no rush before yet. But every few years we'll be reviewing that. And so if you do that, it's not as much painful as ripping off the band-aid as if you wait a whole decade. A lot more changes if you wait a whole decade. Anyway, but the staff has been just amazing. I appreciate it. Just it's all about the partnerships that we have, and it just goes to show we have a great relationship with the town of Bartonville, and very proud of that, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, y'all did great.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Chief.
Ron, do you want to say something, or do you want to?
I get it, yeah.
Mayor, council, thank you for the opportunity. It's been a long time coming. I've been working on this for a while now, and like Chief said, it's consistency is what we're looking for.
You need
We
to
have-
address you, sorry. Do you have a name?
Is that,
Sorry.
I've got your information.
Do you have Chief Collins? Okay, we're good. Thank you.
what we're looking for is consistency throughout the towns that we serve. So we're unique. We're not like a department where we belong to the city. So we got one city to deal with. We got 4 different towns, 4 cities. So the goal is to get it all together. So it's a lot easier for us when we review plans. We don't have to pull 4 different code books to review plans. Not only that, the last time, like Chief said, any revision was done was 2009. You got some 2009, 2012. The key is to try to keep them in line together. If it's a 21 version, you want to keep everything else a 21 version because they all reference each other. So if you have a 12 and a 9, it really, and contractors, a lot of times, they like to cheat the system. They'll try to do the cheapest themselves, right? So when they see inconsistency like this, they would always want to challenge. But the good thing is this, that all the contractors we've been seeing coming through here, it's been really good to work with. Yes, we've been getting a lot of calls, said, why is Bartonville still at 2009? I said, we're working on it. But, you know, if you can at least do the 18, 21 would be great. And a lot of them has been following that direction, which is good. We do have a few that just kind of, yeah, we'll do the 2009. But overall, I mean, I really appreciate the time to stand up here and serve the community of Bartonville. 21. If you approve it tonight, we'll go into effect tomorrow. We'll be up on the website and we're ready to go. You have any questions for me while I'm here?
Thanks, Paul.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for all the work you've put into this. Appreciate it. Does anyone wish to speak in opposition?
Thanks, Mayor. I have the speaker request Tina Bennett.
Please state your name and address for the record. You can go over there. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
So my name is Tina Bennett. My address is 422 Wolfram Road. I've been a Rovis resident for 13 years now. And I just recently spoke with Chief Briggs and I told him it's my fault because like I haven't been active since COVID. But anyways, initially before hearing all the conversation, I don't want anything new. I just want to be left alone. I want to live in my little house and I'm like, I don't want these new changes. But after listening to these gentlemen here, I think that's perfectly fine and I don't have anything negative to say about that. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak in opposition? No. Okay. Time being 7 o'clock, I'll close the public hearing. Discussion? You think there's any question?
Sounds like it needed to be done.
We informed you, probably make sure you got there.
Yes. Do you have a motion?
I move to approve an ordinance amending various provisions of Town of Bartonville's Code of Ordinances, Chapter 3, Building Regulations, Article 3.02, Technical and Construction Codes and Standards by adopting the 2021 editions of the International Building Code, International Residential Code, International Mechanical Code, International Plumbing Code, International Fire Code, International Swimming Pool and Spa Code, International Energy Conservation Code, International Fuel Gas Code, International Existing Building Code, and adopting the 2020 edition of the National Electric Code and providing for the modification of the code to incorporate local amendments.
Okay. Good job.
Good job.
All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
I'm sorry, I heard 2 seconds.
There's one, no.
Thank you.
Motion carries 4-0. Thank you. Number 2, discuss and consider ordinance amending the Town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances, Chapter 9, Personnel, Article 4, Officers and Employees. Excuse me, Division 2, Town Administrator, subsection 9.04.034, powers and duties by adding Chief of Police. Staff presentation town attorney.
Yeah, so this is my recommendation, is to clarify that the town administrator cannot fire the chief of police. And I think that was the intent of a previous update to the code. It just wasn't specific as to that fact.
Okay.
Any discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve an ordinance amending the town of Bartonville Code of Ordinances, chapter 9, personnel, article 4, officers and employees, division 2, town administrator, subsection 9.04.034, parenthetical 1, powers and duties by adding chief of police.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, council. And 3, discuss and consider a resolution appointing Dylan Over as the town representative to serve on Upper Trinity Regional Water District Board for 4-year term ending May 31, 2029. Staff presentation, Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor. Mr. Knoller has been our town representative since 2013, and he has expressed an interest in continuing. So if you have any questions, he's in the audience. But being on there for a decade, I think that he shows that he wants to be on.
And he's done a fine job.
He has done.
Dale's the water expert.
Yes,
I can't think of anyone else we'd rather
right.
It's a very high paying job.
have. Look at all the benefits that you get.
Yeah, right.
Any questions or discussion?
Now,
You have a motion?
I'll make a motion to move or to approve a resolution appointing Dale Miller as the town's representative to serve on the Upper Trinity Regional Water District Board for a 4-year term ending May the 31st of 2029.
I second him.
All those in favor? The motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Bill.
Did you hear that, Dale?
Thank you. I hope I'm alive.
Number 4, discuss and consider a resolution appointing Kirk Riggs as town administrator, approving compensation provided in the offer letter and requiring a surety bond in the amount of $50,000. Staff presentation, Harrington. Chief Riggs is ideal choice for town administrator. In the past 7 months as acting town administrator, he's consistently demonstrated leadership, professionalism, and dedication needed for the role. He completes tasks efficiently and in a timely manner, ensuring the smooth operation of town business. The chief interacts well with residents, staff, developers, business owners, and always treats everyone fairly and with respect and without favoritism. Under his leadership, staff morale has been the highest it's ever been, thanks to his cheerful demeanor and effective communication skills. The chief has always been fiscally responsible and continuously looks for ways to save the town money, as shown by cost-effective changes he's implemented in our new waste and IT services. He's been amenable to change, transparent in his communication, and his experience and leadership has proven invaluable. The chief brings the qualities we need to keep our town moving forward. If this resolution is passed, Kirk Riggs will be serving a dual role as town administrator and chief of police. Discussion?
That's good, Mayor.
Very well said.
Well, I don't know how you can add much to that, except there is a, Bartonville's probably the most, we're most blessed and lucky. Well, I don't know if it's lucky, we get, of course, that has a lot to do with this, to have someone such as the chief on board. It's not about money. It's not about savings, it's not about costs. The citizens I've spoken to all understand that what we have is something special. However, the first concern that I hear from everyone is, and it's normal in each one of us, I think, is what happens if we lose both the chief and the town administrator at the same time. My response to that to the citizens, and they understood it. And I take Chief at his word. I think he's kind of leaving that old school, and I got a good feeling about this, that he tells us that when time comes for him to make that decision and move on, he's gonna give us plenty of notice, and he'll be actively a participant in finding and seeking out someone to take his place that he would want to carry on what he has put in place. In 11 years now on council this year, the number one priority has been always, and I've heard this from all the citizens, that it's about public safety and the safety of our citizens. For 11 years, we've worked on this. And we've told the citizens that there's a difference between a need and a want in our community, and the taxpayers' money is something that we have to be very frugal with, and we've managed now in 11 years to get a police officer as a leader that has brought us 24/7 coverage. And you can't buy that. The morale that he's got and brought to the three ladies that's in our organization is, it's unheard of. Hey, when you want to come to work and you do a good job and you want to do it, you don't have a job, all of a sudden you're enjoying it. And that's what's happening. I've never seen morale such as the mayor expanded upon as high as it is that we've got in Bartonville. Each one of the officers love their job. They don't want to leave Bartonville. They want Bartonville to be part of it. And then, you know, when you that age and climbing the ladder, all you can't count on tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to change. Nothing stays constant. But we've been able to prepare for that by with the chief and with our prior administrator also has agreed, and we started this back then by cross-training our employees. So that if one steps out, another steps in and takes the position. The chief has done that. We've got an excellent lieutenant. If something were to happen, we could step in and at least fill that void until the permanent took its place. So the response to that is we have a qualified individual that can do what it's doing for the town. And it's about the service to the community and not about the dollar bill. That's what I have to say. Thank you. And Chief, I appreciate what you brought to the town of Bartonville. Thank you very much.
You're correct. The lieutenant did step in at the time when the former chief resigned.
Yes.
He led the department for about 6 months, did an excellent job, so I'm comfortable there. I'd like to, Chief Riggs stepped in at a time when we needed someone to step in and help lead the administrative side of our shop. He raised his hand, he did it, and during that time, he helped upgrade our software server system here, bringing it into current century. He negotiated that. He worked with the IT group very closely to manage that change, and I think it was fairly seamless from my perspective. There might have been some hiccups, but there were probably behind the scenes because I didn't notice all the time. Also, we were kind of up against the gun on getting our waste management renewed, and the chief stepped in on a very, very tight time and negotiated with, got RFPs from several different providers, and we ended up selecting Computer, and he managed that system, as well as rounding out our police department with. We had an open position. I talked to the chief about it. He said, I'm not in a hurry to fill it. I want to fill it with the right people. He didn't want to fill it just for the sake of filling. And based on the two hires he's had since come here, they're very qualified and really solidified our police department. So we appreciate that. And I know I'm forgetting a lot of other stuff. Chief has stepped in, so if anybody else wants to weigh in on that. But he's done a lot. I appreciate that. One other thing I will say is I've talked to the administrative side of our house, and to an individual, they have all said very glowing things about the chief and his management style, and just for stepping in, giving the job, and helping them with whatever needs to happen. So I just wanted to add that.
I just like to say, on my part, walking into this office to, for any reason, and if you meet one of the townspeople in here, they always have something pleasant to say about how they're treated here. And that's what we're here for. We want to take care of our citizens. We want them to be happy. We want them to be safe. And with the environment that we have here and the willingness of everybody who works in this office to be a cohesive group and to respect each other. And personally, I just think it's a pleasure to work with people who enjoy their job and who want to do the best for the citizens of Bartonville. And we appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Hard to follow all that. Kirk, I hope we give you feedback constantly on it. No matter how many times we say it, it's never any less sincere. It always comes from, from a sincere place with us. And I hope you see it, the confidence we have in you, by how we vote the things you ask us for and the things that you bring to us. And it's not because we're easy, it's because we have faith in you and we trust you. If you tell us you need something, we think that you have all of our best interests at heart. We have that kind of faith in you. And I'll even back up a level, start thinking about the leadership in this town, how important it is. It's happened under this mayor. And you see the things that have happened during her administration here, how much better things have gotten. And now with you being here day to day in your leadership, we see it just keep continuing, continue to compound. And I think you guys work great together, and we are very lucky with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm going to continue, like I said, when you asked me to step in, and if you vote the direction to go this way, I'll be honored to do that. I enjoy what I do. Today was a real busy day. Got to go out and do some things that were a little different, not different than the law enforcement side, putting those hats on. But I just want to thank you for the accolades and the confidence. And yes, me and the mayor, we work very well together. You all know you can reach out to me anytime, 24/7. And having a staff, Shannon and everyone else, we could be, get a great law enforcement side and great administrative side, and to have a council that supports us, that's big, because that not every town administrator or every chief has that. And that's accolades to y'all that you give us that support, because when we have that support, it's easy to keep people here. And just thank you for that.
Thank you, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
Thank you. That's the man's experience. See, we've had other administrators, we've had other employees in the town, there's always a learning curve. When someone walks in this door, you gotta learn personalities, you gotta learn the procedures, you gotta know the ordinances, you gotta learn how the people gonna react to you, what they expect of you. See, that takes like a 6 or 7 month course in order to get to it. Well, and then you already learned that. Now,
Learning code.
how does he get that experience? Well, first of all, the man's got 40 years of it, and that comes with age. You can't buy experience, you can't buy that knowledge. You can only get that knowledge through actually putting your hands on it. And if you haven't experienced that, then you can't have empathy. Because you can't share that with someone that you don't have experienced it with before. So I watched that man in business do the things that he's done, and I'm telling you, we don't know when citizens, I speak directly to them, and each one I've heard from them, they also understand where I'm coming from. That we are blessed to have the employees on this town, in this town, doing the job they are, because they're there for the citizens. Chief, again, I appreciate it. We are the manager, you are what you're part of the town. Thank you.
I do have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve a resolution appointing Kirk Riggs as the town administrator, approving the compensation provided in the offer letter, and requiring a surety bond in the amount of $50,000.
A second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Councilman. Closed session. Pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Chapter 551, the town council will meet in closed executive session in accordance with Texas Government Code Number 1, Section 551.071, consultation with town attorney to seek legal advice of its attorney regarding legal issues related to the town's extraterritorial jurisdiction, issues related to the First Ranch development, issues related to proposed landscape plan, and any and all legal issues related thereto. Number 2, Section 551.071, consultation with town attorney to seek legal advice of its attorney regarding legal issues related to the town hall property improvements and any and all legal issues related thereto. Time being 7:17, we convene in closed session.
Okay. I have to recuse myself as the item one.
Okay, thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. So, time being 7:41, you can be, discussing consider approval of resolution approving landscape plan for first grant to authorize the town administrator to execute an amendment to the development agreement to incorporate the approved landscape plan. It's staff presentation. We just.
Mayor, council, the only major change that they had from its previous landscaping was the retention wall that will go, on the backside of their property, anywhere from a 6 to 18 foot. And, that's so I recommend that,
You should look it up, it's fun to watch, and it's just.
approve
just Please stop.
the changes in the landscaping.
Anyway, thank you. I'm sorry, I have a motion.
But, we accept the changes.
That's just not painful.
Hang on a second.
All those in favor?
Well, Mayor, before they vote, can we just amend the motion real quick?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
If I could, I move to approve a resolution authorizing the county administrator to negotiate, execute an amendment to the Arch Ranch Development Agreement and approving the proposed landscaping plan.
And I say.
All those in favor? Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Kim.
I'll go get Keith.
Yeah. Thanks, Marty. Item number 2, closed session, no action taken. Future agenda items, are there any items council would like to press for upcoming agenda?
May I had mentioned this once before to the mayor, but, I would like the council to consider buying American flags to put down there where our horses are. I don't know if you saw last year, Argyle had them all over the place. It just looks so great. And we have a perfect place down there. If anybody's, I just would love to see us have flags for Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day,
Is that BCDC?
And I don't know who would do that.
Yeah, we can talk.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thank you.
You saying a flag or flag?
Flags.
Flags.
So not a flag.
You know what kind of like what?
No, not a flagpole, the ones you just put in the,
Yeah, for holidays.
like Frenchie puts all over.
Okay. Sounds good.
There used to be a Boy Scout troop that did that on a yearly basis, and I'm not sure that might be one.
Okay. Checking the options. Okay. Time being 7:44, meeting adjourned.